Hello and welcome to the Pugsley Crew Reviews Podcast, where we talk about all manner of films, whether they're good, bad, or anything in between, really. We'll give them a watch and give you our honest opinions. Today we have joining us again, as usual, Kerr9000.
Hey up, chap.
How you doing, dude?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Tired, but otherwise good.
Good.
Yeah, yourself? You tired? Are you like me, always tired?
Yeah, pretty much.
Just the way it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the film we talked about today is The Quick and the Dead. It is a film that's a western. But I will have to say here, I'm not a big fan of westerns. There's only a couple that I've seen that I've really enjoyed. One being The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I actually quite like the Wallace trilogy in general, but not a lot of others.
No, I mean, I've got a few westerns I really like, but it's not a sort of type of film I'd flick on all the time. I should probably say it's me that chose this film, so I put you through a western.
Yes.
But
I mean.
I subjected you to a western because it was 6 weeks ago yesterday. My father-in-law passed away, and he loved westerns.
Yeah.
So it's wanted to do this with you in honor of my father-in-law Ben. Just in tribute to him. So, and I
Totally
figured I'd
fair.
pick a sort of cool western that's not old. It's I think is it 1995.
Yeah,
Directed
95.
by Sam Raimi, who a lot of people know for Evil Dead, but then a whole lot of other people know for Spider-Man. So,
Evil Dead.
it's a western, but it's with Sam Raimi sort of bits of humor and his kind of style.
Yeah. Evil Dead is where I know him from.
Yeah, it's probably what a lot of people know him from.
Yeah. I wasn't a big fan of the Spider-Man films back in the day, so. But Evil Dead is fucking amazing.
Oh, I love Evil Dead. He got picked to direct this film because Sharon Stone wanted him as the director, and she
Oh,
wanted
really?
him as the director after she'd seen Army of Darkness, which is obviously Evil Dead 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, direct Evil Dead link for you there.
That's cool. I didn't know that. The more you know, huh?
Yeah.
Right. Well, this film, as we said, is a western. It starts off with some crazy guy trying to find gold in the desert area. And he's like, oh, was it 50 yards north of the wagon or 50 south? I can't remember. And he's just digging loads and loads of holes with his hands, even though he got shovels. Weird.
Yeah, it don't make a lot of sense.
I'm guessing he'd hit the point where he's like desperate and just digging with his hands as quick as possible. Lost the plot kind of thing, maybe. That's the only thing I can think of. And then, for some reason, someone's coming on the horse towards them and he shoots them. Again, I think he's lost the plot when it comes to his gold that he's trying to find, or money, or whatever it is. It turns out to be Sharon Stone, which is the main character. Somehow she is shot in the brim of the hat. No idea how. Falls off her horse, acts as if she's dead, then kicks the guy, I think, and then ties him to the wagon and leaves. After stealing his hat.
Did you realise who the guy was?
I recognised him when he came back later. When I first saw him, I didn't.
It's Tobin Bell, the guy that plays John, the nutcase in the Saw films.
Yeah. I didn't recognise him until he comes back in the film. Because he comes back later with the wheel attached to him. He managed to escape the desert. And he's like, I'm going to kill you, bitch. And I did not click on who he was until then. When I first saw him, I had no idea who he was.
It sounds funny, but he's just so young for Tobin Bell, isn't he? You're used to seeing him as a proper old man.
Yeah. Turns out he was 30 in the Saw films. I don't think that's the case, but it's not the point. Yeah, no, I didn't click on until he came back. When you first saw him, I was like, oh, I don't know this guy. But that's the thing, though. The cast is actually quite a big cast, isn't it? You got Gene Hackman, Sharon Stone, Russell Crowe, Leonardo DiCaprio. So you got quite a few people there.
Lance Hendrickson,
Keith David.
Keith David, yeah. Oof.
Painful Keith David.
You might have seen this in the credits. Bruce Campbell's listed.
I didn't notice that, no.
He's listed in the credits, and he's not in the film.
What? I guess
they
it's
filmed
seen your cut
with him in, but it got cut.
Yeah. That's weird.
Well, apparently he was filming the TV show. I don't know if you've ever seen the show, Briscoe County Junior.
I've never seen it. Never heard of it, I don't think.
Oh, it's wicked. It's a show where he's a cowboy. He's like a marshal that goes and takes people down that are, bounties or whatever.
Yeah.
And he got a filming break from that, and he wandered across, and he's like, I'm here to see my friend, and the next minute they pushed him through makeup and made him up as some dirty cowboy hobo.
That's really cool.
They got one of the characters to repeatedly kick him in the arse and throw him at something. And then it pretty much turned out that Sam Raimi said, oh, I'm not even going to bother processing the print. I was just messing with you, sort of thing.
What a dick. That's brilliant, actually.
Since Evil Dead, they're like long-term friends and they fuck with each other and stuff. So
yeah, it's fair. Why not, isn't it? But there's quite a big cast there. Pretty much everyone dies.
Yeah.
One person we didn't mention was the murderer who wasn't a murderer from Home Alone. Yeah. You know who I'm on about, don't you?
Yeah, the old guy.
Yeah, the old guy who's like, oh yeah, he kills people and that's the bones are what they use to melt the snow. And it's like, no, he's just a nice old man. Well, he's in there as well. I don't know his name. He's just the old guy from Home Alone. That's what I know him as.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so it's about a tournament kind of thing, where the person who shoots the other person first and then the other person gives up. Whoever gives up first then by being shot is the loser, and the person who doesn't give up is the winner, and then it becomes, we changed the rules, the person who dies loses, and the person who doesn't die wins. That's literally what it is. So, everyone who takes part, apart from, spoilers, Sharon Stone and Russell Crowe dies.
Yeah. And I think there's some pretty amazing deaths in it.
There are some fun deaths. Keith David's was pretty brutal. Lance Hendrickson's was pretty brutal. Gene Hackman's was pretty brutal.
I think the award goes to that pedo guy though that gets his cock blown off.
Yeah, that is painful, but he deserves it.
Oh yeah, it certainly makes you want to see it happen to him.
Yeah. I would say poor guy, but he deserved it because he's a dickhead. Yeah.
This is one of my favourite Leonardo DiCaprio roles.
Yeah,
I think he's great in it.
Yeah, I don't think I would agree. He is good in it. My missus said when she was, because she watched it with me, she's like, "Oh, you got a thing for dying, haven't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Because he, as well as, like I said, everyone else in the film who takes part in the tournament, apart from two people, Leonardo DiCaprio takes part and is killed by Gene Hackman, who turns out who is his father.
I mean, I thought that was proper if there's a kill death in this, which I think is upsetting, it's probably his death
Mm.
because he's on the floor bleeding to death. He only entered really to get his dad's respect. He's there reaching up for his dad, and even at the last moment, he won't acknowledge him, and he's still like almost claiming he's not his. And I just think, yeah, prick, you could have leant down and held his hand for the 20 seconds of the life he'd got left, and you can't even bring yourself to do that.
Yeah, he was a bit of a dick, but I think that's portrayed through the entire film that he's a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, where was I with the whole guiding us through the story of the film? It gets to the point where they're all signing up for this challenge thing. Everyone who signs up, we pretty much mentioned. There are a few other people we didn't mention, like Scars and Red, whoever that is. A couple of other people. They all die. I expected, to be honest, the person to kill the scarred guy, I expected to be Sharon Stone because the amount of shit he was giving her, and it turns out that it was Russell Crowe's character who did.
Yeah.
Which I thought was unexpected, I guess, because like I said, I expected it to be Sharon Stone's character who did it. Who throughout the entire film is called Lady, but I noticed in the credits she had a name, which I never noticed I get called it. She might have done, I just never noticed I get called a name other than Lady.
Russell Crowe calls it a one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like the kid's got a name. And I think that only gets said one time. So she's just Lady and he's the kid, and
Yeah. That's the thing. I think he introduces himself, doesn't he, Leonardo DiCaprio? He introduces himself as, hi, I'm blah, 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 but most people just call me the kid. And then from there on, they just call him the kid. I can't remember what his actual name was.
no, I can't.
Yeah, the tournament is basically people, it's kind of, I can't really go narratively into the whole story of like the shooting and stuff, because it's literally like a bit of exposition, then someone shoots someone, bit of exposition, someone shoots someone, because that's the kind of film there is. But basically there's one point where Gene Hackman and Sharon Stone, I'll get the name out properly now, have a conversation in his house, and she like pulls a gun out on him under the table, but for some reason doesn't kill him, even though she had a chance there. And she wanted to kill him because he kind of kills her father, but not.
Yeah.
For spoilers. Right. In the flashbacks, it keeps showing like what's happening to her father, and it shows a bit at a time. It doesn't show the entire thing. So it shows the father getting dragged out of a house or the sheriff's station by some guys, and then they put a rope around his neck. The next time you see a bit further where they're stringing him up. And the time after that, you see Gene Hackman on a horse shooting the chair that you see him do this to another person earlier in the film, Russell Crowe, where he shoots the chair until the chair gives way and then they get hung. Well, they're doing that to Sharon Stone's father. The next scene shows Sharon Stone as a child running, like, leave daddy alone kind of thing. And then Gene Hackman picks her up, puts her on a horse, rides around for a bit, laughing and jeering. And then the next time, it shows what actually happens is Gene Hackman gives the gun to child Sharon Stone. Says, if I've had 3 shots at the chair, you can have 3 shots shooting the rope. And the father's like, yeah, do this. And it's like, I it's not your fault. I'll just try. So Sharon Stone's like, I can't. Well, the child version of Sharon Stone is like, I can't do it. But she tries to do it and ends up shooting her father right in the forehead. And it's not until right at the end when Sharon Stone it goes up against Gene Hackman in the final shootout that he realizes who she is, because she's given the sheriff medal or badge by the graveyard keeper, the undertaker, saying, you know, I know who you are. Here's this of your father's. And then she throws her at Gene Hackman. And he's like, so that's who you are, kind of thing. And the penultimate fight is Sharon Stone versus Russell Crowe. Sharon Stone gets shot and is presumed dead. Turns out she was pretending to be dead, which they then made up a little plan, obviously, to fake Sharon Stone's death, blow up a load of the town, so it takes out some of Gene Hackman's crew, posse, whatever you want to call them, and then when Russell Crowe faces off against Gene Hackman, stuff starts blowing up. That stops Gene Hackman from shooting at Russell Crowe and vice versa. Russell Crowe is in on this. Russell Crowe walks off, starts shooting the rest of the Gene Hackman's crew. Sharon Stone walks from behind a load of smoke and are all like fucking slow-mo and cool. And then she's like, yeah, let's do this. And he's like, but you're dead. And she's like, well, I'm not, am I? Stupid. I'm standing right here. She doesn't say those words. But... And then obviously she kills Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman gets shot in the guts. You see his where he was shot from the shadow, where there's a hole in the shadow on the floor. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he's like, and he's about to shoot Sharon Stone again. Then Sharon Stone shoots him, and it goes in his eye, I believe. And he's like, and then he does a massive back flip and dies. And then she gives the sheriff medallion or badge to Russell Crowe and says, law's back or something. And then she rides off.
Yeah.
Like they do in Westerns, they ride off.
I mean, it's a mix of a stereotypical Western and then loads of cool slow-mo shots from eyes to eyes and bullet holes and like hero walks. So it is a Western, but it's got this kind of like almost video game flair over it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get you. To be fair, I thought like the first like 10 minutes, I thought, damn, this is cheesy. But I kind of got into it. I'm not really into Westerns. I thought the film was all right. Like I've seen worse, I've seen better. It's an interesting one because I didn't expect much from it, but like there were some parts where I thought, oh, that's really good, and then there are other parts I was like, yeah, just move on, get back to the shooting.
I mean, it is basically a film of about 10 really cool drawn, quick draw fights with
Yeah,
bits of plot in between. But I do think it does a good job of having so many characters and actually like making them their own distinct personality.
yeah,
The kid's great.
yeah. He's a guy who wants
Crowe's
respect from his father.
Yeah.
Then you got Crowe's character, as you're saying, who doesn't want to fight. He wants to leave that life behind because he became a pastor.
And it's like he's not going to fight, but instinct takes over. And the first gunfight, he's like, I'm not going to do it. And then bang.
Yeah.
And even he looks at his own hand and like goes, oh shit, I've just killed someone.
Yeah. He's all about redeeming himself because of what happened in the past with him. Basically, he worked for Gene Hackman. He got shot up really bad. Pastor helped him, and Gene Hackman made him shoot Pastor. And after that, he kind of left Gene Hackman's group and wanted to lead a normal life. From the seams of it, he's now going to lead the life of a sheriff.
Which I suppose that's a sort of kind of romantic end to it anyway, isn't it? He was a villain who found God and's now going to repay his debt by becoming the hero.
Yeah.
So that's a nice little. They've all got pretty much nice little stories. There's a lot of little stories that get wrapped up within the confines of one big story.
Yeah. Well, you've got Lance Hendrickson, who's in there, and he's like this. Yeah, I killed all these people and stuff. It turns out he was just full of shit. Like, he seemed to be pretty good with a gun and stuff. Like when he jumped off the horse and shot the card. But like Gene Hammond's like, oh, you're in, I don't know where he said, like New Mexico, I don't know, somewhere.
Oh, you shot a girl's thumb off.
Yeah, down in Mexico, you shot a girl's thumb off. And I think that was kind of foreshadowing to him getting his thumb shot off by Gene Hackman.
Yeah. I mean, that made Hackman look brutal because he shot his thumb off, then he shot a hole in his other hand. That guy had it. That could have just ended. And he's like, no, I'm going to prove I'm the ultimate asshole because even though he's defenseless, I'm going to blow him away anyway.
Yeah, exactly. You had Keith David, who was there as a gun for hire, basically. So he was there to take out Gene Hackman. The people of the town, and basically whatever they could muster up paid for him to do it. He gets his head shot, literally a big hole through his head. Pretty nasty stuff. By Gene Hackman, I might add. I think Gene Hackman's probably the most brutal killer of them all.
Yeah.
I think who else was in there? Then there's Sharon Stone, who's obviously in there for revenge.
Yeah.
Gene Hackman, he's just like the bad guy and has been for a long time, and he runs the town, takes lots of money off people, which is why they all wanted it off him. Yeah, I think there's like each character has a little bit of background. Each of the main characters, anyway. Some of the smaller characters haven't got much.
No.
Because they don't necessarily need to.
No, they have just enough for you to want to see them die or, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, it was all right. It was all right. Bit cheesy at times. And I'm not the biggest fan of Westerns, but I thought it was all right. I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. It's above average slightly, because there's some good bits in there. But
I'd go for an 8, but I think it's more I'm a massive Sam Raimi fan than I'm a massive Western fan. But there's a few Westerns that do make my top list, and it'd be like this and the Young Guns films.
Yeah, I like Young Gun. I like the first one a hell of a lot more than the second, though.
I don't know, I'm quite fond of the second one because I quite like Christian Slater. And I find his bickering with Emilio Estevez quite funny. How they're like, whose gang is it? And they're like, all the time he's trying to make out it's his gang, and Billy's no, it's my gang. And then when they're in the deep shit, Billy's like, it's your gang now, what are we going to do?
Yeah. No, the second one, just for me personally, it just doesn't hit the same strides as the first film. First film is really good. The second one I just thought was okay.
Apparently there's going to be a third.
Huh?
Yeah, there's going to be a third Young Guns, apparently.
Why? How? I guess it's not going to be based around that group of outlaws then. It's going to be someone else.
Well, Billy the Kid, yeah.
Huh?
It's following the logic of Billy the Kid being that Wild Bill or whatever who was found years and years later, the one that in Young Guns 2's telling the story.
Yeah.
But whether that means it's Emilio Estevez and next to nobody else, I don't know, because Chavez died, the Indian, didn't he? Doc
Yeah.
died. I know Christian Slater's character didn't die, but it says at the end he went off to Mexico, bragged about all his crimes and got hung.
Yeah.
So either they're going to have to seriously rewrite stuff and ignore things that happened in number two, or I don't know. I don't really get how it will work, but
Maybe they won't do a third one. They'll just reboot it or something. Maybe they just call it Young Guns. It doesn't make sense. How can they make a third film?
I don't know. So apparently it's quite a recent thing that it's been brought up, and apparently Emilio Estevez is involved. But whether it ever gets fully off the Hollywood cutting room floor, who knows?
Huh, that's weird. Yeah, that's weird. Some films just don't need sequels. Just leave them as they are. You were saying of your top westerns?
Oh yeah, basically the Young Guns films. This, and then there's another film, and I do not remember the name for it, but it's another Emilio Estevez cowboy film where
Yeah,
he's
all
some
right.
kind of bounty hunter, and it was like a really low budget, straight to DVD thing, and I really enjoyed it, but I cannot remember the name.
Hmm. I have no idea.
Problem is though, as a genre, a lot of them are quite cliched.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I think
suppose Django. There we go, Django Unchained. That's another one.
I haven't seen that. Is that my
Quentin
what's his name?
Tarantino.
Tarantino? That's the one. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Oh, good film. Because
Hmm.
once again, it's not a full cowboy film because it's a cowboy film mixed with all of sort of Quentin Tarantino's weird touches and
Yeah. Hmm. I might have to check it out at some point in the future. Maybe. Westerns are just not on my priority list, if that makes sense. It just, I don't know. You know, this, I don't know.
there's something weird for you with this film. All the handguns in it are actually correct to the time of when the film's set. They are all proper guns that would have been around at that time.
That's
And
cool.
every like gunfighter has got a totally different type of handgun, like character designed for them. And they were all went through a massive process of being aged and stuff to make them look dirty and real. I think the prop master put them in chlorine and things to rust them up, and they went to all that trouble. And then Sharon Stone wears glasses that are quite modern and have a shocking modern company's logo on the side of them.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow. That is pretty shocking, actually.
but it
But
does make me
hmm?
wonder what happened to all the guns. Because if they went to that much trouble, I would hope they'd have given them to the actor, in a case to take home, because apparently Gene Hackman loved his guns, and he was spending extra time in his own social time, like practicing gunslinging, flinging the gun around, and because he wanted to be the best on set. And apparently they were having like on-set contests of who could draw quicker and that.
Really?
Yeah,
Seems like they had a lot of fun making the movie. Yeah,
yeah,
it's it seems like it was a lot of fun around the movie then, even if they made silly mistakes with the glasses. But yeah,
yeah.
it seems like all involved had a good time then.
I think it's one of the films that's sort of the halfway point between Sam Raimi being that low-budget Evil Dead director and then going on to like massive Hollywood stuff. I think this might be one of the first films that are big production like entrusted him with, and I think it's fully because Sharon Stone wanted him. She's a co-producer on it or something, and she like made loads of demands and was like, "I'll walk away if it doesn't happen." She demanded Leonardo DiCaprio, and apparently she paid for his wages out of her own money, and
Really?
she demanded Russell Crowe.
That's me. That's mad. Mad having that much bloody power, like. But why not?
Well, yeah, if you've got it, use it.
Exactly. But yeah, not a bad film. I would say watch it. It's definitely a more interesting kind of Western out of the many I've seen. I've not seen loads. I've seen a few, but most of them I find are quite. Young Guns I really like. God's Trilogy I like.
Yeah.
Can't think of any others I really like. Some I don't mind. Like this I don't mind.
Yeah. I think it's a good entry point if you want to try westerns.
Yeah. It feels a little different because I think a lot of westerns for a lot of people will be like just like John Wayne films or something, you know,
Yeah.
like old Clint Eastwood films and that kind of thing. But then you've got this kind of you don't see a lot of westerns nowadays. Do you? I think the last one I can think of, it isn't really that much of a western. Was like Cowboys versus Aliens, which was a few years ago.
I hate that film. I really hate that film. I
You
tried
love
to
it,
watch
really.
it 3 times and fell asleep every single time.
Yes, I watched it. It's not a good film. It's really not.
No.
But yeah, like I said, there's aspects of the film that I think are really good. Like the deaths and stuff, and the shootouts are pretty fun. But I think everyone who's listening should give this a try if they haven't seen it, even though we've spoiled some of the things. But I always say, you listen to the podcast, watch the film first, so you know what we're talking about. It's more fun that way to listen to us talk about the film, and you're like, I know exactly what they're on about. That's what I do.
There's bound to be an actor in this that will carry you through the film. There's going to be somebody that everybody really likes because it is a list of who's who.
Yeah, it's got some big names in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that is going to be us, though. We've been going for approximately 30 minutes. We'll be back hopefully in 2 weeks. Thank you, Kurt, for taking part. It's been a pleasure as always.
Oh, you're welcome, mate. Take care. See you later.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Worth $3,000 in 4 states. 75 offenses and no convictions. My name's Fee, but everyone calls me the Kid.
Congratulations.
So damn fast I can wake up at the crack of dawn, rob 2 banks, a train, and a stagecoach, shoot the tail feathers off a duck's ass at 300 feet, and still be back in bed before you wake up next to me. How you doing?
Do we have any more fighters?
Just fine.